Yes lads, how you all doing? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, and today I'm going to bring you guys the Leicester versus Brighton match preview. So with the Premier League well and truly back, and after a 1-1 draw away from home against Watford at Vicarage Road, attention quickly turns to a midweek clash at King Power Stadium between Leicester and Brighton in the Premier League. So with that being said, today I'm going to bring you guys the match preview for Leicester's game against Brighton at the King Power Stadium on Tuesday night, and after a 1-1 draw against Watford, which wasn't the best of results, the game against Brighton on Tuesday night is basically must win for the Foxes. But just before we get into it, make sure you big thumbs up down below on today's video if you guys enjoyed today's Leicester versus Brighton match preview. The Premier League is well and truly back, so if you want to see some more Premier League content just like this, drop a like down below on today's video. While you're down there, make sure you subscribe to see my face on your screen before. We are now on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We've hit 1k, now we're aiming for 2,000 subscribers. So if you're new around here, go and subscribe because it does help out quite a lot. While you're down there, make sure you turn my channel post notifications so you never see any future videos on the channel just like this one. Follow all my social medias, they'll be down there. Links, all of them will be in the description down below. Let me know your score predictions, your thoughts on the game in the comment section down below for Leicester versus Brighton. But without further ado, let's get into today's Leicester versus Brighton match preview. So as per usual, getting straight into today's match preview, we're going to start off by talking about the oppositional side of things heading into the first game back, of course, at King Power Stadium. Of course, we take on Brighton on Tuesday night, and this week I've got Fusion Josh coming on the channel to give you guys the Brighton side of things. Of course, Brighton fan, football vlogger, goes around England vlogging a range of different games, so he's one of the best vloggers out there in my opinion, so go and subscribe if you haven't already. There'll be links to his channel in the description down below. I'm going to hand over to him now, and he's going to bring you guys the Brighton side of things heading into the first game back at the King Power Stadium. A big thanks for him for coming on the channel today, and I'm going to hand over to him now, and he's going to bring you Leicester fans the Brighton side of things.
Right, how's it going everyone? Fusion Josh here, obviously Brighton fan of course, previewing the game against Leicester at the King Power Stadium, which I must admit, first of all, I'm not really confident despite Brighton beating Arsenal 2-1 in the 90th minute. Like, no, it's not what I'm really confident for. Leicester, okay, they drew against Watford. Watford couldn't, obviously scored in the last seconds of the game like we did against Arsenal to win the game. But Leicester have always got that quality, and we don't have a good record against Leicester at all, so it's going to be a difficult game. The restart for Brighton has been, well, it's been truly fantastic if you look at it points-wise, but performance-wise against Arsenal was not the best whatsoever, and we generally played shocking at times. We were lethargic, we weren't really fast, we weren't going out of blocks, there was no intensity in our play, and to be honest, it could be a sense of, I don't know, fitness, that the fitness might not be there to have the intensity like we do normally play. Possession-based football, we didn't play that against Arsenal, for goodness sake, which was a shame, but for Brighton to get a 2-1 win against Arsenal was absolutely unbelievable, so I'm very, very happy with that. So this Leicester game, it's actually it's a really weird one. It's a weird one for me because Leicester obviously drew against Watford. Watford aren't the greatest of teams, but then they are actually improving under Nigel Pearson. Seeing Leicester's performance against Watford does bring me a bit of optimism, to be honest. Everyone thought Leicester would have won that game, and he did not win that game. And to be fair, there wasn't many chances in the game. However, looking at the game as a whole, Brighton actually could pick up a point against Leicester if we play to our best strengths. Tielemans, Ndidi, Maddison, Vardy, you got even like Johnny Evans, you got Sayuncu, all of them scare me. Alright, Ben Chilwell, even though he had that strike, he doesn't scare me. I think Brighton will have an unchanged team, to be honest, with the only changes being McAllister to start instead of, I'd say, Pascal Gross, and then Aaron Moy will keep his place in the team. Morpay will start. Maybe Connolly might start, but Connolly might start because of his contribution, obviously, in the game against Arsenal. He loved the ball over defence. Morpay finishes weaker foot, and bang, we win 2-1 in the 95th minute. But yeah, no real changes. You got Dunk, you got Duffy, you got Bernardo, or actually no, that could be Dan Burn. Dan Burn is no, he was missing the game, so actually no, it will be Bernardo left back. Montoya will start right back. I don't think Charlotta will start this next game. Going into the centre mids, obviously that's going to be Debbie Proper, Bissouma, who had an absolute masterclass of a performance. Trossard will start, Morpay will start, Moy will start, and McAllister will start. Yeah, I think that's the team sorted. I think that's 11 players. If not, I'm very, very sorry. Now, with the starting 11 all sorted, it now brings me on to the prediction. Now, this is the vital one. I have been so negative with Brighton very, very recently. So, I think from our win, we've got all the confidence in the world. So, hopefully we can start the game very well against Leicester. But it's going to be a difficult game. And for yourselves, it's going to be a difficult game you've had against, well, Watford. And then now we're going to be facing, obviously, Brighton and Albion. So, it's going to be difficult. But I am going to predict myself, and I'm going to predict Brighton to lose this game, if I'm being totally honest with you. I think it'll be a 2-1 scoreline. Leicester will nick it. And, yeah, I hope we can draw. If we take a draw, I'd absolutely take that. Any points is vital for Brighton this season. In terms of staying up, I'm not sure if it's the case. let's hope we do. That win against Arsenal is absolutely vital, so hopefully we do stay up. That's my prediction, 2-1 Leicester, unfortunately. But thanks for having me on the channel, boys, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.
So big thanks for Josh for coming on the channel today. Like I said earlier on, go subscribe, link will be in the description. But without further ado, let's get into the Leicester side of things, heading into the first game back, of course, at home at the King Power Stadium. So last time out in the Premier League, of course, we took on Watford away from home at Vicarage Road, and we drew 1-1, which, you know, wasn't the best of results, but on the balance of play, it probably was deserved. But of course, with Chilwell scoring late on, we thought he won it, but somehow Craig Dawson equalised. So yeah, it wasn't the best of performances at all at Vicarage Road. It just adds a bit more pressure on the game on Tuesday night against Brighton. But if you guys want to hear my full thoughts on the game against Watford, go and watch my Watford versus Leicester match review. There'll be links to that in the description down below. That'll be in one of the corners as well. I don't know which one it will be, but yeah, go and watch that video if you want to hear my full thoughts on that game. But obviously, at times, Leicester looked very, very poor in that game. It wasn't the best of performances at all. Obviously, it was the first game back. It's always going to be difficult. But at times, Leicester were absolutely awful. We showed good promise earlier on and towards the end of the game. But overall, a point was definitely deserved. And at some points, we could have even gone on to lose that game. So to get a point, you know, it wasn't the best of results. But a point is a point. And it brings us one step closer to securing Champions League football. But with Chelsea's win on the weekend against Aston Villa, they're only 3 points behind us now. So just with that Watford draw at that point, it adds extra pressure on Leicester to try and get the 3 points on Tuesday night against Brighton. With a very good Chelsea side, only 3 points behind us now in 4th place. But moving on to the Brighton game itself then. So after that point against Watford, we do need to get the 3 points in the game against Brighton. But I am fairly confident that we can get the win. Obviously, since Brighton got promoted, we have been very good against Brighton at the King Power Stadium. 2 wins, a 2-0 win in our first season and a 2-1 win in the last season when it was actually Brendan Rodgers' first game in charge. So hopefully we can continue that pattern and hopefully get another 2-0 win or whatever. I don't care. It's an important game. If you can get the win, I think they'll push us one step closer to securing Champions League football. But Brighton are a very good side. We saw them beat Arsenal, so it's going to be a difficult game. Every game is difficult in the Premier League, but hopefully, I am confident that we can get the 3 points. But of course, after the Watford performance, you know, which wasn't the best of performances, hopefully we can turn it around. Hopefully that was just a blip. It's going to be interesting to see what Brendan Rodgers goes with his team selection. We'll get onto that later. I think Demarai Gray should be given a start, but I'll talk about that later in my predicted lineup. But it's going to be a very interesting game. Leicester versus Brighton is always a decent game. It's always got goals in it. So hopefully we can just get through and push through with the 3 points in the end. But like I said, Brighton have a good team under Graham Potter because we beat them earlier on this season 2-0 at the Amex in a very good game. Overall, it was very end-to-end. I'm expecting a similar thing, but hopefully Leicester can come out on the right end of the scoreline once again. Obviously, Brighton like to sit back. We saw that against Arsenal, so hopefully we can use the pace in behind with Jamie Vardy just to break in behind. With the players like James Maddison, Youri Tielemans and the team, with Brighton sitting back, hopefully we can get the passes to break through them. I think we need to use the wingers a bit more in the Watford performance, the wingers and the strikers. The whole front three was quite isolated, especially Jamie Vardy. So hopefully with Brighton sitting back, it will bring Jamie Vardy into the game, and hopefully players like Maddison can just get into the pockets in between the defensive midfield of Brighton and try and slide Jamie Vardy through. I think with Brighton sitting back, it may go against us or it could go forwards. Obviously, under Brendan Rodgers, I'm a bit more confident that we can break through teams. Last season under Klopp, well, some teams sit back, we found it way too difficult to break through. But under Brendan Rodgers, we've seen Leicester do it this season on a number of occasions. So hopefully we can do it. Hopefully we can possibly get Brighton on the counter-attack if they're attacking as well towards the end. So with that being said, moving straight onto my score prediction then, I'm going to go with a Leicester City 2. Brighton 1. I think Leicester are going to just manage to get the win in the end. It's going to be a difficult one, but hopefully Leicester can come through with the win in the end. Like I said, we have a very good record against Brighton. We have never lost since they have been promoted. So now I said that, Brighton will probably go and beat us, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I'm fairly confident that Leicester can get the win. It's usually a 2-1, 2-0 type of scoreline. There's always goals in the game. I can't see it being a 0-0, to be perfectly honest. I think Leicester going forward off a big threat. So Brighton with the likes of more pay up front. It's going to be difficult, but hopefully Leicester can get the win. I'm going to go with a 2-1, like I said. I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy to get one, and I'm going to go with Youri Tielemans to get a goal from midfield. For Brighton, I'm going to go with more pay to score. Obviously, he scored against Arsenal, so it's going to be difficult, but I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Leicester in the end. Hopefully, we can secure them 3 points. So that's my general thoughts and score prediction for Leicester versus Brighton. So straight on to my predicted lineup. This is where I predict the side. I think Brendan Rodgers will go with the start against Brighton on Tuesday night under the lights at the King Power Stadium. To start us off in goal, I'm going to go with Kasper Schmeichel and captain. Obviously, he had a brilliant performance against Watford last time out. Made some crucial saves. Hopefully, Kasper can continue to have a good performance back at the King Power Stadium. So, of course, Kasper Schmeichel is going to start in goal for me. Moving into the back four, then to start off at right back, I'm going to go with James Justin. I thought it was a a decent performance from the youngster against Watford last time out. Hopefully he can have a good performance back at the King Power Stadium. I think Ricardo's injury is worse than we assumed. He's going to be out till October, so this is going to give James Justin a massive chance to prove himself at right back, and hopefully he takes it. Hopefully he has a good game against Brighton. I fully expect him to. Moving into the two centre-backs, I'm going to go with Johnny Evans and the main man, Kakulas Soyuncu. A good performance from them two against Watford. These two literally play so well each day, and they're very, very reliable, so hopefully them two have a good game against Brighton at home. They usually play well. At home, we have a good record in the whole of this league. We barely even lost, so hopefully them two can have a solid game, and I fully expect them to do so. Obviously, players like Wes Morgan, Bennett, I don't think they're going to get in, so I can see it being Soyuncu and Evans. I think most Leicester fans will expect that one. Moving into left back with Ben Chilwell. I'm going to go with Chilwell to start. I thought he had a brilliant game. Oh, no, it wasn't actually a brilliant game. What am I on about? It was a good goal, but his actual performance wasn't the best. But I don't think Christian Fuchs is going to be able to come in. I think if Chilwell has another few poor games, we could potentially see Christian Fuchs. Obviously, there is a lot of games, so we could potentially see Christian Fuchs. But I think Brendan will go with Chilwell just simply after his goal. I think that'll give Chile a lot of confidence. So hopefully, he can have a good performance defensively and going forward against Brighton. So moving into the midfield, and I found this one very, very difficult to predict, but I'm going to keep with the same sort of formation. So starts off in the defensive mid role. I'm going to go with Wilfred and Didier. It wasn't the best performances from Wilf, but wasn't the worst. Hopefully Wilf can have a good game against Brighton midweek. I think it's going to be important. I think if Brighton sink back, I think Brighton are going to be going on the counter-attack. So Wilfred and Didier needs to be the man to break up the play and set Leicester off on a potential counter-attack against Brighton if they counter-attack. So I think Wilf's going to be heavily involved. He's going to get a lot of the ball if Brighton sit back. So hopefully Wilf can have a good game and hopefully doesn't misplace any passes like he did against Watford. Obviously Saar got that big chance which Schmeichel managed to save. Moving ahead of him, I'm going to go with James Maddison. Obviously, it wasn't the best performances from him against Watford either, but he showed signs of promise. We wanted to get on the ball, but I'm not going to mention it again. I'm just going to briefly say it. He needs to get forward ball. He's way too deep. He needs to be right behind Jamie Vardy, and that is where James Maddison thrives. So hopefully, Maddison can sit behind Vardy, and hopefully James can have a good performance against Brighton. I found this one very difficult to predict, but I am going to go with Yuri Tillemans. Dennis Pratt has got a slight injury, but I'm going to give Yuri another chance. It wasn't the best of performances, but it wasn't the best of performances by Leicester in general. So I'm going to give Yuri another chance. If he has a poor game, we can always switch him for potentially Matty James off the bench. So yeah, obviously Dennis Pratt's injured. If Dennis Pratt was not injured, I probably would have gone with Dennis Pratt to start. But just simply because of that, I'm going to go with Yuri Tillemans to start in midfield alongside James Maddison and Wilfred and Diddy. So moving into the front three then, I was contemplating potentially going with Kelechi Iheanacho, but I'm not. But starting off in the left wing position, I'm going to go with Harvey Barnes. Obviously, it wasn't the best performances from him last time out against Watford. Of course, Damari Gray was brilliant when he came on, and we'll talk about that one in literally a few seconds. It was a great performance from Damari Gray when he came on, but for Harvey Barnes, it wasn't the best, but maybe it was just a slight blip for Harvey Barnes. He usually does well at the King Power, so hopefully Harvey can come back into the lineup. Obviously, he got subs fairly on, and hopefully he can have a good game. He needs to be more direct. He just didn't seem to be too involved. Hopefully, him and Chile can link up on that left-hand side and cause Brighton some problems. Like I said, moving into the right-hand side, I'm going to go with Damari Gray. Still a bit concerned about Ayoze Perez. Is he fit? Is he not? I don't know. I'm going to go with Damari Gray to start on either flank. I think Harvey Barnes and Gray can rotate flanks. But like I said, Damari Gray was absolutely brilliant against Watford. But we usually say this about Damari Gray. He comes off the bench and is absolutely brilliant, but then he starts the next game and he's absolutely awful. So hopefully Damari Gray, this is Damari Gray's chance. I think he fully deserves to start. He was absolutely brilliant when he came on. So hopefully Damari can have a class game against Brighton. Hopefully he can just basically play how he basically just needs to pretend that he just came off the bench, but he is starting. He needs to be direct, make some runs, and that is when Damari Gray is most dangerous. At times Damari Gray is an absolutely brilliant player. We've seen absolute brilliance from him. And sometimes he's very, very poor. When he starts, he's poor. So hopefully that changes, and hopefully Damari Gray has a good game against Brighton. And finally, moving up top, I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy. I was thinking about possibly going with Kelechi Iheanacho and Vardy to start up front, but I'm going to go with Vardy as the lone striker, and hopefully he isn't that lone, because last time out against Watford he was very isolated. There was a massive gap between him and the midfield, especially players like Maddison and the wingers. So hopefully Vardy can have a good game against Brighton. He usually manages to score against Brighton, so hopefully Vardy can have a good game against Brighton and potentially get on the score sheet. But that's it for the Leicester versus Brighton match preview. It's going to be an interesting game on Tuesday night. There will be a live watch along once again, so stay tuned for that one. That'll be coming out at around 5:30. We'll start that one. So if you can join us for that, that would be much, much appreciated. But leave a like if you have enjoyed today's video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below your thoughts, your predictions, your predicted lineup in the comment section down below. I want to hear what you guys think. Do you agree with my predicted lineup or not? Let me know in the comment section down below, people. But that is it for the Leicester versus Brighton match preview. I've been SPORTSA, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace.
heartbroken.